When they're not to wear them. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Connor here. Welcome back to the stream with my good man, Rob Mulholland. He's probably dazed and confused backstage right now because I'm not on show with him, but I will get him on in just a second. Guys, thank you for joining us. There's a fair few of you watching us right now, so thank you again for spending your lunchtimes with One Leeds and, of course, Rob Mulholland. We're here to give you the pre-match build-up, really, to the Leicester City game. We've got your opposition previews, which are out already. We've got your tactical breakdown, my individual preview. But, of course, I had to get my good friend Rob Mulholland's opinion. So I hope you're all doing really well anyway. There's lots of people in the comments. Lee, at last, has caught us live, which is great. What you're wearing, mate? Well, I can tell you. Let me get that out there. I'll tell you what I'm wearing, boys. This is the merchandise at One Leeds. Go check it out. It's comfy. So make sure you do that. But at this moment in time, I'm going to bring my good man, Rob Mulholland, in from backstage. He's just taking a sip of his freshly brewed coffee. Hello, Rob.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. You got me?
Yeah, we've got you. We've got you. How you doing? All right?
I'm all right. This looks like I've got, like, the way you've put this, it looks like I'm the Leicester fan on this. I want to make very clear, I'm Leeds till I die.
You are the Leicester fan, mate. That's exactly how you told me to put it beforehand.
Absolutely shameless. How you doing, man, anyway?
Yeah, good. What's new in the Mulholland world?
Not much. I've just managed to get myself banned off Facebook and Instagram again. Happens fairly often. Well, I posted a video of me. It's on my Twitter still. They haven't nixed it there. But I went on stage at the Frog and Bucket in Manchester the other night, about an hour after.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, just after the lockdown was announced, and I made some jokes about it. And I didn't make any scientific claims or anything like that because I don't know any. But yeah, Facebook have not enjoyed it. My account is banned, so we'll see if we get that back.
Oh no! So is that cross socials, or have you still got a couple that are left?
So I've still got Twitter, my YouTube. Subscribe to me on YouTube. I can still put things on there. But yeah, Facebook and Instagram have had me down.
You don't need them anyway, do you?
Comedian, mate. I'm banned. I'm an outlaw.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, we're not that PC on this channel, but that is Rob Mulholland. Please go check him out.
Yeah.
But Rob, have we caught up after Villa? I don't think
we haven't actually. No, we haven't actually spoke since then, man. And I've been on cloud nine since then, man.
What a weird game. I mean, going up to the game, obviously we did the pre-match chat then as well.
Yeah.
But I think we were both in that mindset of it's going to be a difficult game. Didn't turn out that way, did it?
No, this is it. I was dead nervous about that one. I thought that was a real banana skin, and then. Just turns out Leeds United are the best team that football's ever seen, and I shouldn't have trusted them.
Yeah, it's one of them where you sort of question Aston Villa for actually taking us on. There was no point, really, was it, from their point of view?
No, it was they set up in a weird way. I didn't think it was the best way to approach the game, and we clearly showed that it wasn't. But they were right; they were full of confidence, weren't they? They just battered Liverpool. They were full of beans, thought they could beat anyone. But no, we soon disavowed them of that notion, didn't we? It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, mate. It was one of them where I've spoke about it since, but do you think Leicester maybe didn't show us enough respect? Because Leicester, yeah, I win. That's wishful thinking.
I hope they do the same. Yeah.
But Villa, I don't know if they did, mate, because they came into the game obviously, full of it, and fair play to them, top of the league. But I think, and what we'll see with Brendan Rodgers, what we saw with Nuno as well, in a way, but Brendan Rodgers in particular, is how he modifies his formation, his tactics, his styles to each and every opponent. Do you think Dean Smith missed the trick there because he sort of once again didn't really change the game plan. The fullbacks were coming forward, and I mean Matty Cash in that first half just got completely overloaded, didn't they?
Yeah, they were really stretched and really open, and it just felt like they'd not watched Leeds for a while. Like they played in a way that was made it easier for us. We were great though, we were really, really on it and brilliant. But yeah, they did make it a bit easier for us than they could have done. And I don't know if we'll get the same ride tonight.
Yeah, no, it's well, we've done these for quite a few games now, haven't we? I think we did it for Wolves, and I was actually weirdly quietly confident for Wolves. I think I said 3-1 Leeds, but do you think we've sort of? I mean, surely. I mean, I don't know with Bielsa, you never know, dear. And I think we saw these patterns like with Luton and with Sheffield Wednesday last year. But do you think he might have sort of learnt from the Wolves game?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he learns from every game. I think he's constantly looking to improve and constantly looking for ways to change things. But I don't think the Wolves game was a bad performance. It was one of those where we easily could have won that 1-0. It was one of those games. It was down to tiny moments, and that's not really how Bielsa analyzes games, is it? He analyzes the whole picture and whether we deserve to win or not. So I don't know if there'll be huge changes as a result of it. I think we will approach it in the same way we always do. We're looking like the squad will be a little bit more together tonight, so give us a couple more options, hopefully. And I'm full of beans now. Like I've got the bit in my teeth now. At that Villa game, I was like, why am I doubting this football team? Like, why am I doubting us?
It's hard not to keep going back to it, isn't it? 'Cause for me, it's like when we saw Stoke maybe last year and we won 5-0, when you thought, I mean, that is the most complete performance. When we battered Derby down there after being on the drink, and you're thinking to yourself, what performances? But that Villa performance, it had absolutely everything, didn't it?
Yeah, it was one of like the most complete performances we've seen under Bielsa. Like the second half in particular we were just in that mode where we're just unplayable, and we just swept them aside. And it's just like when we're playing like that, it's like it's so imperious, it's so impossible for the other team to get anything, and it's so total the stranglehold we have on them. It's just so good to watch. But like, yeah, for me, I think Lee Bamford's a god at the moment. Yeah, that's fair. But I think for me, honestly, the half where I thought we were the best ever under Bielsa was the first half of the Cardiff 3-3. The one where the first half of that is Unreal. The best performance I think I've ever seen. Like, it was just total. We could have scored 7 or 8. And then, then the second half went weird, obviously. But like the Villa game was like that in the second half, I thought. We were that dominant. And to do that to a team in that good form with players of that calibre, it was just another like marker that we've posted of how good we are and how competitive we are in this league. And this is what I was saying to everyone last year. I've got a mate who's a Brentford fan who like hosts a show, and like I went on there to talk at the end of last season. And I was saying how like I thought we'd smash the league, and then we'd be up next year competing around the European places. We'd walk through half the league, and he's like, "Oh, what you smoking, mate? What you smoking?" Well, turns out I was right, wasn't
I? Smoking some good stuff, whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, mate, I mean, yeah, as I said, absolutely unbelievable. We saw a few modifications in the game in terms of formation. Obviously, Pascal.
Yeah.
With Strike, I thought the first 20 minutes he actually looked really good. I do think sometimes, though, do you think when players are running at him, I think he can be a bit laboured sometimes and maybe a little bit flat-footed.
Yeah, he's not the most agile player. Like, he's a big old unit, isn't he? So, and I think Grealish was, we'll call it clever in exploiting that. He ran into his leg at full pace. He knew what he was doing. Jack Grealish does that sort of thing. Yeah. So, I thought he very much bought that foul. And I don't think Strike was bad. And it was one of those where we've seen it happen to Calvin Phillips a couple of times. In that position, it's a particularly vulnerable position in the Bielsa team because we play with that single pivot, and often that position just gets exposed because, our fullbacks bomb on, then they're essentially the centre back in a back three. So yeah, they've got, they get into those risky positions, and if it's not quite working, Bielsa will just hook the player. So I don't think it was anything personal with Strike, and I think Strike will go straight back in. I think it was just for that 20 minutes, we didn't have the control we needed, and we saw how much the game changed when it was changed. So, a little shout out for Click playing that role.
Well, that's what I was going to come on to. I mean, I think we all probably knew that Click could do that role. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not the fact that he's a big presence like Calvin Phillips in terms of physical and combative in that defensive midfield role. But we know he's got an eye for a pass. We know he's a little bit niggly. He's aggressive, in the tackle. He's not physical, but he's aggressive in the tackle. He gets about a bit. I don't know about you, mate, but I quite obviously I like striking there. But I loved when Shackleton came on. He was so industrious in terms of just work and energy ahead of him. And when you look at someone like James Maddison, who's going to be playing tonight, who for me is he's their key player. We have to respect him. Is someone like Shackleton, and maybe with just clicking behind, would that be sort of a good way of going in terms of a combo?
Yeah, maybe. Look, I wouldn't be upset at seeing that at all. Like, I was absolutely delighted for Shackleton. Like, it was a minor disappointment of last season. Look, it's churlish to have any disappointments about last season, but if there was a very slight, tiny, minor 0.0001% like little thing, it was the fact that Shackleton didn't get as much game time as I hoped he would. I hoped after the season before he was going to kick on and play loads more, because I like the lad and he looks brilliant. He's both footed. His work rate's incredible. He's insanely rapid, and his technical ability is really good. So it seems like he's got everything. And whenever he comes on, he makes a great impact. He was absolutely brilliant against Villa. I really hope he gets more and more game time. And I think looking back now, look, we talked about this at the time, how we were short a midfielder, maybe, obviously DePaul, and then, the endless like midfielders we got linked with over the summer. Maybe we were overlooking the one that we've got in the squad, and this is the advantage of not signing that player, is that Jamie Shackleton gets more game time. And I'm not upset about that.
No, definitely not, mate. I think he's, I guess the only sort of critic with the window would be it's that creative player, isn't it? But then you look at the window that we've had. Rafinha looks like he's going to come in as Cam. Then you've got Rodrigo. Then you've got Pablo. So, there's so many options there, which is it's a position where Leeds United the past 2 decades haven't been in. So, with regards to the strike situation in the midfield and sort of a Click or Shackleton, and we obviously know that Bielsa is. There's probably no point in having a discussion about it because Strike's going to go straight back in. But there's no point, is there? But
no. Look, we can come up with whatever formation we want. Strike's going straight back in.
But for a preferential, what would you have, mate? What would be your sort of preference in there?
Yeah, I don't know. I really do like Pascal Struijk, and I think he's got so much potential there, and I think it's worth persevering with him and giving him that chance. And to be honest, after the last game, I'd like to see him back in there, just to get back in there, get straight back onto it, and get that out of his system. The danger with that is if he gets overrun again and Maddison starts running rings around him and he gets hooked again, then it's doubly bad. I can't see us changing the midfield, to be honest with you. I would see it being Struijk and Click and Rodrigo being the 3 in there. And look, I'm not going to be upset at that, but I think now Bielsa will definitely see that switch with Shackleton and Click dropping back as a real option now, and that's great because we need more options, really, especially with Calvin being out for a bit in it. So yeah. I would say start with Struijk probably. I do have faith in him. I think he's a dead good player. So I think he's got that mental fortitude to come back with a big performance.
Yeah. Now, and do you know what, Rob? That feeds into the whole mantra of never change a winning team. Now, that brings me on to another decision that Bielsa's going to have to make tonight. A decision that I have a personal opinion on what I would do, but I'm really interested to see what you'd have on that.
Sure.
Luke Ayling, arguably man of the match, aside from Patrick Bamford the other night, playing in the centre-back role. He's done it for Arsenal, Yeovil, Bristol City. We were saying beforehand we don't really like Luke Ayling in that role, but
I just thought we'd really miss him at right back, but he was so imperious there. Like, it was by far his best performance at centre back. He was insanely good.
To be honest, Rob, I think it's one of his. If I was to, I'm thinking of sort of Luke Ayling performances because they always stick out to me because he's arguably my favourite player.
Me too, man. I absolutely love him.
He's just what a legend, and I think he top 3 performances in a Leeds shirt for me. I think he was absolutely phenomenal to keep Ollie Watkins just completely out of the game. And I know in the midfield they didn't do that much, but he had to cut off the lines. He had to be imposing. He nodded a few out from corners as well. Is there a sort? Don't get me wrong. I know with Cooper he's the captain, and that's a massive difference. Of course, it is. And Cooper was fantastic for us last year. But with someone like Jamie Vardy, I would argue that Ayling has a yard or two more pace than Cooper.
Yeah.
It looks maybe like him and Koch had a really good partnership there. And do you want to sort of vary up Koch's defensive partner again? I mean, there's so many different sort of points there, mate. But
there's so many different things to consider with it. Like, also one thing worth considering with it is how well Alioski played in the last game. Like Gianni had a great game, and like I was dead pleased for him because he's someone that is often, quite on that borderline. Is he going to be quite good enough? I thought he was absolutely colossal. Like he was up and down all day, put some great balls in as well. Like his delivery at times was unreal. A few of those, that early ball that picked out Bamford for that header that he just nearly put in the corner. So good. And that is a very good point, Lee Smith, actually. Like, we don't want to rush Coops back and risk a further injury. So, but the downside is missing that dynamism from Ayling. Like he's just, his attacking threat is so big, and like I'm sure Bielsa will want him back at right back as soon as he can. But yeah, again, like this is the thing. We were again, me and you were worrying about what we were going to do at centre back, and it turns out we've got more options than we think. This is why Bielsa's so on the thing of everyone has to be versatile and everyone has to be able to play multiple positions. They play it really well. They're not just like okay in those positions, they are top class in them. So yeah, I would look, I love seeing Luke Ayling at right back. I just love his little shuttling runs constantly. But if we end up with him at centre back, we're going to be absolutely fine. It turns out that that's just another beautiful option we've got. For me, I would like to see Coops come back in as soon as we can, to be honest. But if he's a half fit, probably don't risk him, at the moment.
Yeah, it was difficult as well, wasn't it? Because we saw at Wolves, you do wonder whether or not if Coops turns around to Bielsa and goes, I'm fine, and then sort of goes back into the starting 11 and then maybe he pulls up at the start. Bielsa's never going to really know, is he? And if Cooper's giving you the green light, then he's just going to probably put him back in, isn't he?
Yeah, I would think so. Obviously he's a trusted lieutenant, Cooper, but it must be a problem for managers because like players are always going to say they're all right, and like I imagine Bielsa has testing he does, and you'll have to probably get the bleep test out see if he can manage. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those where like I think Cooper's huge for us, and he'll be desperate to be playing at the moment. He must be absolutely gutted to not be involved in every game. But yeah, we will see on that front whether he makes it. I have a feeling that Cooper will be back in. To be honest with you, Ayling will be back definitely at right back. But if not, then look, Dallas was again brilliant at right back. Like that's never a worry, is it? Any position you've got Stuart Dallas in, you're like, all right, that one's sound.
Yeah. I think probably, I mean, we'll talk about a few things with Leicester, mate, because obviously, they're our opponents tonight. But with regards to, well, I guess you might as well just touch on it anyway. But Leicester have got a lot of injuries: Castagna, Wilfred Ndidi, potentially Mendy, Johnny Evans. There are a lot of injuries in this side at this moment in time. So. I mean, you'd expect that to be a huge factor for Leeds, wouldn't you? Because obviously I know, but I guess we keep forgetting, don't we, that we have key injuries in Calvin Phillips, but at the same time, anyone can play anywhere in this Leeds United side. And you just saw the other night how good we are in terms of this collective of moving people into certain positions. And are you sort of looking at that tonight as a key advantage, or do you think that just goes out the window and Leicester will have steady replacements?
They'll have steady replacements. They're a good Premier League side, but
very good, aren't they?
They're very good, but the thing is, like, their replacements are not going to be the same quality. Like, those are huge players for them. Like, Ndidi in particular and Johnny Evans, I think that's huge weakening at the back for them. Like, they are just real leaders in there, and like in a real area where we look to exploit. They've got great players to come in. Don't get me wrong; it's not like they're going to be terrible, but those are massive players for them. So that's got to be an advantage for us, surely.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously you got Ricardo Pereira out, who's been it was phenomenal when he first came to England. So I mean, they've got a lot of players out, and Maddison as well. I mean, he's only recently coming back. Vardy, I know he scored against Arsenal, and to be honest, Robert, probably a 60% fit Jamie Vardy, you'd want to have him on the pitch. So I guess the question is, mate, let's touch on Jamie Vardy then. I'll just let you take it away about Vardy.
Yeah, well, look, we all know how good Jamie Vardy is. Like, we know what problems he's going to cause. We've been watching him for years. He's going to make those runs in behind. If he does get one-on-one with the keeper, he's going in. He's lethal. But I think the key for us tonight will be making sure he gets no supply. If he can't, if Leicester can't get the ball, if they can't get into our own half, then they're going to have no chances.
Yeah.
We're gonna be vulnerable to balls over the top. Like that's going to be. I think they're going to be looking to sit and counter. But I'll be honest with you, I'm feeling confident about this one. I think it's the sort of game that we just get a complete stranglehold on and we just overwhelm them. I think we're in that good form at the moment that if you try and do that sort of game where you sit offers, we'll just have it. We'll just keep the ball and we'll pass around you forever. And we're actually finishing well with the form Bamford's in. If we get an early goal, we're away from them. I'm genuinely, I think we'll keep them quiet. I don't think Jamie Vardy is that fit at the moment. Hopefully he won't be able to play the whole game. Hopefully he'll come on late in the game and the game will be over by then. That's basically my hope with Jamie Vardy. Because, he's a massive threat and he's a massive threat to the way we play in particular. But I think we can keep him stifled by, just making sure he gets no supply at all.
And I guess, but with what you're referring to there, that just shows how, and sometimes it hasn't been for me in the midfield with Leeds. I think Bamford illustrated it earlier on in the season. He said, we're still getting up and ready with the press and fatigue of, the off season and lockdown and all that sort of stuff. So, I guess Leeds, if they can, in my opinion, mate, if they are high on Leicester and they just run them down like we saw against Villa when it was just, you could. I guess quality and sometimes technicalities go out the window because when you're fatigued, the quality's never going to be as good. And if Leeds can just run them down, and I think as well,
this is it.
I think as well, Rob. The key factor has got to be an early goal, hasn't it? 'Cause we score early, and it's a different game. They have to come
over. Yeah, I think at that point is that they're in huge trouble if we get an early one. But what you were saying about running them down is really true. You got to remember, defending as a unit is really tiring. To play against a team that's passing short and sharp and that, and constantly be making these little pressing movements, it's knackering. It's short little sprints constantly for the entire game. It's how Barcelona, that great Barcelona tiki-taka Guardiola team, wore teams down. Yeah. Teams would sit off against them, but just because you camped in your own half doesn't mean you're not working. You're working incredibly hard. So if we can do that to Leicester, like we did to Villa, and just take the sting out of them with that, teams are, again, they're not used to playing us. They're not used to playing teams who play like us. They have played possession teams, but before the season, people kept comparing. For me, people would be like, "Oh yeah, you like Brighton." If you watch Brighton, when they attack, there's one person in the box. Mate, watching Ben White in defensive midfield is doing my head in.
He's struggling at the minute, isn't he? He's looking. That Man United game where we watched, I watched that Man United game. He seemed erratic all of a sudden. He's diving around.
Not a defensive mid. He's not a midfielder. He's a Rolls Royce of a centre back, and they've put him in the wrong position. But my point is, the fluency and the speed with which we play is not matched by anyone. If you look at the underlying stats for us, there are no teams in the world that play like Bielsa's Leeds. We are so intense, and even if you are a top class professional athlete, playing against that team for 90 minutes is going to be exhausting. So I genuinely think, I'm dead optimistic about this one. So cue a 5-0 pasting against us. But I genuinely think we've got the tools to beat Leicester.
Yeah, definitely I do. I know I am really confident about tonight. I think there'll be goals. But I just think with the likes of, I was speaking to a Leicester fan the other day and on the opposition preview, and he was saying that, he's really confident with Albrighton and really confident with Wes Morgan and really confident with Fuchs coming in to deal with the injuries. They've been brilliant. But I was almost listening to Jamie and he was making some valid points, but I was almost listening to him and thinking, Jamie, you haven't got a clue, mate. You haven't
they just don't know what's coming, do they?
This is it. And I think there's a lot. You saw it with Fulham. You saw it with Sheffield United. When they played us, I think both games were sort of quite tight, obviously 4-3, 1-0, because they'd played us recently. They sort of knew what to expect. Obviously, Villa had been a year out, and they sort of, for some reason, had this weird sort of, we're gonna steamroll them, so we'll just play our way. We won't adapt for Leeds. So we just played our way and steamrolled them. But I think with teams like Liverpool, with teams like City, with teams even like Wolves, and obviously tonight against Leicester, they don't know what's coming. And this is always the thing. The game after, they're always like, I mean, I'll speak to opposition fans, and the game afterwards, the day afterwards, they're always like, you know what, wow. I mean, that was incredible. And I think it's going to be, Leicester might beat us tonight. There's no pressure on us. Like, we can go out there and it's a free hit. So we go out there, we play our way.
Exactly.
I just think that, with all their injuries, they seem to have, with all their injuries, there's just going to be one formula of playing, and that's Maddison to Vardy. Like you said, mate, we restrict that, and they're going to get a real shock tonight.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. And like Wes Morgan's a great defender, but I don't think he's going to have a nice time against Leeds. He's not exactly a ballerina, is he, Wes Morgan? Like, no. If the speed that balls are going to be coming around him and how quickly you need to be able to turn and adapt in order to adjust to a Leeds attack and how quick we'll pass around you, I think he's going to struggle with that. And I think like the whole side will in general, to be honest with you. But what you were saying about the free hit is so exactly right, mate. Yeah. That's why this season's so great, isn't it? Every game last season was stressful and horrible and tense. Even though
we lose, Rob, it doesn't matter if we lose tonight. That's the matter. If we lose tonight, we've lost against a Europa League team who were Premier League champions, 5 years ago? They've been in the Champions League consecutively as well after that. Yeah. So there is all the pressure tonight is on Leicester.
Exactly. Oh, what if we lose? We're still in the mid-table of the Premier League. Brilliant. Yeah. This is our whole season. This is how we can take this whole season. That's why it's loads of fun. Because like last was horrible and stressful. Even the games that were brilliant and we won. This year, I'm just enjoying it, mate. I really am. Like the Wolves game when we lost, didn't mind. Like tonight, if we lose, I won't mind. I think we will. I don't think we will though. And like it's just fun, isn't it? We're so good. Like every time I get nervous about an opposition, I've just got to remember how good we are, and we're getting better as well. Now Rodrigo's starting to click and pick up the system, and like with Rafinha coming in, just the little glimpses we've had of him. We've got more to come as well. We've not hit our full level yet. No, we've not had our full squad available, and like. This is our team at like 80%, and we're blowing people away. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I look at every single game so far. The Wolves game, I did feel at points we seemed to maybe play into their way a little bit, but it was just a case of us not being able to break them down. But overall, you could argue the case that we've not deserved to lose any game this season.
No, I think we've carried on being exactly the same as we were in the Championship. To be honest with you, like we're not quite as dominant because we're playing better sides, but we play in the same way. We play with the same attitude, and we've again, the worst we've deserved in any game is a draw. I think we at least deserved a draw against Liverpool. We definitely deserved a draw against Wolves, and the rest of the games, I think they've been pretty much fair.
Yeah, definitely. No, I completely agree. With regards to Leicester in terms of sort of danger men, is it just sort of the obvious ones you look at as it Maddison or Vardy, or are there a couple of others that sort of take your eye?
To be honest, with Leicester, it is mainly that, isn't it? It's like they play some really good football, and like they do. Actually, like Barnes is a dead good player as well. Like
he's class, isn't he? He's class, Barnes.
He is. So, and like with him, sort of like drifting into those central areas, he can pick up some. He's a difficult player for other teams to mark. He's a difficult player because he sort of wanders. But for us, like just Dallas or Ayling will follow him around the pitch.
But that's the key, Rob, as well. And I think that's the tactical key bit. And obviously, you'll know way more with obviously the Bielsa Bible and watching him and stuff like this. But for me, I mean, Kyle Walker came out and said it, didn't he? It's all about they just follow you around. It's so man marking because Harvey Barnes might go to left back. Dallas is following him. He's following him wherever he goes, and I think that's where it's going to be really sort of discombobulating for Leicester as well, because they're not. It's not just going to be one man. Vardy won't be able to just move on to Cooper or Ayling. Robin Koch will follow him, and then Cooper will go to the other side.
And this is it, and that really it really takes away a key strategy that a lot of like top Premier League teams play, and like it's a thing that Leicester do all the time is rotating their forwards, and it's sort of, and then it's like you get confusion at the back because it's like whose man is this, and you've got a different threat to deal with. For like 1 second you were dealing with a physical attacker, now you've got a pacey one. You've got different things happening. For Leeds, none of that is an issue. Like that is completely negated out of the game. It's like this is your man, that's it. Yeah. So I think that particular strategy will go out the window. I think we'll see it quite early. If they're not getting anything, Brendan Rodgers will instruct his, attackers to switch. We'll just switch our defenders. Nothing will change, So I do think we're very well set up to deal with them and their particular threats. I say this now, I look forward to everyone commenting tomorrow when they watch the replay of this stream.
Yeah, I always get that.
I always just get that nerves when I'm getting confident about Leeds. I'm like, someone's going to clip this and make a gif of me looking an idiot.
I think the key is though, and I think we're very excited at this moment in time. It's a great thing for the club to be where we are, and I think that's why we are talking about games like this so frequently. You do all your post match, all the pre match, because you just want to talk about Leeds. But I think it's crucial at the same time, Rob, to know that we're coming up against a well-established, well-run, very, very good, well-coached Leicester City side who, even with injuries were able to go to Europe on Thursday and get a 2-1 away win. So they will be well ready for this game, won't we? I mean, I guess my lead-on question to that, Rob, and I personally would you take a draw for this game?
I would take it. I don't know if I'd take it now. Like, if we got a draw, I'd be like, that's cool. That's a good result. Right now, I'd want to go after the game, to be honest with you, especially with what you were saying about them playing on Thursday is really key. Obviously they've had the extra day or so with it being a Monday night fixture, but still we've seen so many times with teams playing in Europe on Thursday and then being knackered. It's a lot of travel. It's a lot of extra work. And then you're playing the biggest physical test you're going to get all season is playing against Leeds.
Well, I just don't think they understand. I don't think we look at, last season when Sheffield Wednesday came and beat us 2-0. Then next week, the week after, they went and lost to Blackburn 5-0 at home. It's like, I watched Villa in the first half yesterday. They just looked knackered. They looked sluggish. They looked fatigued. And it looked, as we always say, it is that post effect of Leeds playing Leeds. And I think with them playing on Thursday night, the travel home that night, getting up Friday.
This is it. People sort of forget that element of it. Like, if you're going to Europe, if you think about how tired you are when you've travelled to Europe and back.
It's a human level, isn't there, Rob? It's not just about the football.
Exactly. Like travel is tiring, that whole thing of being away and just traveling and the whole thing. So it's going to naturally have that effect over the whole squad. You add in the fact that, Leeds have been at home with their feet up, getting double sessions off Bielsa. I don't know. I'm feeling dead good about this one, I think it's going to be a belter.
Yeah, definitely.
Mate, I'm full on. I'm going to make an outrageous prediction in a minute, but I'm feeling it.
Yeah, no, I can see, mate. I can see. Let's see what some of the comments are saying. Thomas Brennan has just said there is no teams to fear now. Just sit back and enjoy the amazing footy. And I think that's
agree.
It's a really good point, isn't it? Just in terms of we've waited for this for so long. I mean, I think I've been. Definitely. I think it's the anxiety that's built up over years and years of watching Leeds.
It's being a Leeds fan.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what killed me off last season because I loved the football, but we had to get up. Otherwise, Bielsa was going. So my anxiety sort of overrid my positive attitude sometimes. But when we're in the Premier League, we have got to remember, I saw after the Wolves game, there's people saying, rubbish Bielsa out and all this crap. And you've got to bear in mind, that we're going into tonight's game and we're expected to lose, aren't we, Rob?
Yeah, by other people. Yeah, on paper, it's dead funny. I've still got some of my mates who are Man U fans are still giving me licks oh, you're going to go down. Shut up! You've not watched any games. Yeah. This is the important thing to remember, right? Leeds United will never play football this good ever again. No team plays football as good as Bielsa. That is it. Bielsa ball is the most entertaining football you can get. Yeah. We need to really drink this in and enjoy it because we're going to be talking about this era for the rest of our lives. This is genuinely one of the greatest periods in Leeds United's history. This is why it's so extra gutting that we're not there at the moment. But it's still so incredibly beautiful and just taking that joy to and I keep getting moments in the middle of games where I just catch myself just grinning ear to ear, just watching how great we are. And I think that's the important thing for Leeds fans. We've just got to enjoy it. We've earned this. We've really, really earned this. And regardless of results, we've just got to enjoy the beauty of it because the results don't really matter to us. We're better than 3 teams in this division. We're
going to stay up. Anything more?
It's not even a question. Exactly. So that was our aim this year. Was anything above 17th. Now we're just having a swing, seeing what we can do.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Exactly, mate. Ollie Coulson, Leicester part the bus tonight, no question. Vardy starts, Cooper starts. They'll target the long ball. In terms of Leicester's strategy, do you think that's probably the best way to go about with Leeds in terms of just parking the bus? And a follow up to that, Rob, do you think that as long as the game goes on and potentially we haven't scored, is that going to be where maybe nerves start to creep in a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know if they will. I don't think this Leeds side are capable of really feeling nerves at the moment. Like, I think that the amount of confidence flowing through that side, and it's just completely, and like they're feeling this as well. They're feeling like this the freedom of playing. We can see how freely they're playing and with so little pressure. And I just don't think it's the same as last season. We would get, firstly, the fans aren't in the ground to get tense. There isn't that tension around the place. The players can just keep playing. And it's not like last season, there's not that much on the line, really. It's just, it's an open hit. So I think the players it won't be as tense as it was last season, and I think if it's 0-0 on the 80th minute, we're just going to keep going, keep playing the same way. And I don't think you'll see any change. And I think that calmness is through the squad. Like the level of faith in Bielsa's system that is through the entire squad is just clear to see. And we will just keep doing it. We'll keep trusting the process. I genuinely think that, there's just a calmness through the squad at the moment.
Rafinha for Costa?
Oh, I wouldn't mind it. I absolutely love Rafinha. Look, I think Costa's been playing really well, actually, like low key. I think he's been doing really well. I wouldn't mind it because Rafinha just looks fun, doesn't he? He's just he's got some dirty passes in him. Like some of the little passes he's played, some of the through balls have just been like, absolute filth. So look, I would love, just naughty. So like I would. And look, having a cool Brazilian winger is awesome. Like, it's just like there's just certain things that are just like cool in football, innit? And like having just a cool Brazilian winger, and like he's just got all the tricks, the passing. I'm excited to watch more and more of Rafinha. I feel like we've got a real gem there. So I think Costa will start. I think it's Bielsa. Costa will start. But we will start to see more and more of Rafinha coming in. And I think from the little like snippets I've heard from Bielsa talking about Rafinha, I think he sees him more as eventually as like the Pablo Hernandez attacking midfield role.
Yeah, the successor.
Yeah, long term. He mentioned like specifically playing him in that role in the press conference. So I think that is probably where he sees him. Obviously, it's Bielsa, so we want him to be able to play the wing role as well. So, look, mate, what an exciting problem to have, like trying to fit Rafinha into the team. It's absolutely wonderful, isn't it? Because, we've also got the option of, say, Bamford goes off the boil or gets injured or suspended or whatever, we can put Rodrigo up front and then Rafinha can come into that role. So, it's getting those options around. I mean, fingers crossed Bamford stays fit at the moment. Like, you can't say enough good things about him at the moment, can you?
No, I think he's joint scorer with the entire Sheffield United team from last year.
Like last week, the stat was he scored more goals than every other Premier League team, didn't he? Last week, no Premier League team scored 3 goals. Bamford did.
Yeah, we've not even touched on those finishes. I didn't think he was capable of that. I'm not having that any Leeds fan expected him to be able to knuckleball it into the top corner off the bar. Even the third finish, mate, everyone's like, well, Villa showed him onto his left foot. It's like, well, hold on a minute.
They didn't show him onto anything.
They were
shuffled with no backlift.
That's it, mate. They were shuffling towards him. There was about 4 around him. For him to actually just draw them in and then bend it, and the finish was just unreal. I think the only game where I thought was the Wolves game, but he had no service in that game. Like that was it. I think we lost that in the midfield. So I think there's a complete turnaround. It's me as well, a complete turnaround on Patrick Bamford, and he's proving people like me and every other and mate, I want him to do that. I want him to continue proving everyone wrong, because he's at the minute there is no one, and I've learned this. I was always like, oh, what about Eddie? What about JKA? But there is no one who can do what he can do, and not understanding the value of Bamford was something that I didn't understand. But I think now he's in the Premier League, he's going to flourish even more.
Yeah, and he is doing, And look, I was skeptical at times last season. I've always been an exponent of, look, he does loads of work for the team and blah, 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 blah. But don't get me wrong, I had a real wobble towards the end of last season when we were, creating 30 chances a game and he wasn't finishing any. Of course, I was like, right, in the Premier League, we're going to need someone who can actually stick it in. But then, like, to see him just, he's so full of the confidence of the belief that Bielsa has in him and that faith that he's put in him. And like you say, there is no one else who can do that role for us. He understands the system so well and he's so committed to it. He's, and just to add that little finesse to his game, I feel like he's a real confidence player, and like I've never seen him so full of confidence at the moment. So,
and he needs
to continue.
He needs to sort of get past that like that connotation that he's a streaky player. But at the same time, if you're not a streaky player and you're going on the run that Bamford's going on, you're looking at 30 goals a year, aren't you? And that's just not realistic for a lot of strikers.
Yeah, this is it. Look, if I said before the season, if Bamford gets 10, 15 goals, that'll be an incredible season. And, you know, he's flying towards that. So, look, I don't think he will keep this up for the whole season. I think he will have periods where he's not scoring as much. But I think he's really proving the doubters wrong, and it's great to see. Like, you know, he works incredibly hard and he's completely dedicated. And he's had loads of stick. So to see him come out the other side of it and just really give it a blast. Thomas Brennan, that is a great shout, actually.
Did you see him yesterday?
I've seen the highlights of him. He does look fantastic. So we've got a successor in the wings, you know, like hopefully coming through at some point. I would not be shocked to see Joe Gelhardt get in a game in the Premier League this season. Not at all.
Rob, I don't know if you've heard this. Christhorpe Junction has put a comment on about Bielsa and Southpaw, a point raised by Fernando Roffo. I don't know if you've seen this. Apparently how Bielsa has started using players as a southpaw. I don't know if that's to do with the left foot or something like that, the open body left foot. I'm not 100% sure, but apparently Fernando Roffo has brought that up. So you might that could be something for the Bielsa Bible.
Maybe. So
we'll have to check into that, Chris.
I have no idea what that's about, but I will have a look. He definitely does play a lot of left-footed players. So is that?
So maybe he's changed it up a little bit. Apparently, that's been more genius of Bielsa at Leeds. So there you go.
Fair enough. We'll have a look into that. Yeah. Look, there is no detail of Bielsa's thinking that is too minute for the Bielsa Bible. I will tell you that.
What about Jack Harrison tonight? I mean, Harrison's key to our counter change of. We've not really touched on him, have we? I mean, I thought the other night against Matty Cash, I thought he was a bit of an unsung hero, really, Harrison, because he was just grinding him down, wasn't he? And I think probably the key thing to note as well, Rob, is it's not going to be the same game as Aston Villa, is it? They're going to set it a different way. It's not going to be the overloads that we saw against Aston Villa. I think it's going to be they're going to come a lot more compact, aren't they? And I think we're going to see a lot more similarities to Wolves as opposed to Villa.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And, you know, like Leicester are that caliber of team as well. They are, you know, an incredibly good side. So, yeah, I think that will be what we're going to be facing tonight. And I think it'll be tough, but I think we've got enough. And like, I think as soon as we score the first goal, that plan goes out the window, doesn't it? And then you've got to come and attack, and then we can pick you off. So as long as we do actually finish one of the masses of chances we'll create, then we'll run away from them, I think, tonight.
How do you see it going then, mate?
I'm gonna put a big marker out. You know, I think a full on 3-0 Leeds. I think we're gonna batter them. Yeah,
Clip it up.
No, yeah, I genuinely do though. You know, like look, I just feel it. We've got that juice going. I reckon we'll score plenty. Like they might nick one. You know, maybe a 4-1. I think we're going to absolutely fly into them.
Maybe a 6-2. Maybe a 7-4.
193. I think. But no, I think with the sort of mood we're in, I think 3-0's more than doable.
So you think keeping Vardy quiet is all about us just sort of overrunning the midfield?
Yeah, I think it's the same plan we do to anyone. I think it's the same strategy. Is if they don't have the ball, if they can't get into a position where they can play a ball for Vardy, then you know he's a centre forward. He needs the supply. So I think we just do that. We cut off the supply lines. I think that's our main strategy with him. I definitely think at some point he will be one-on-one with Meslier, and it will be terrifying.
A magnificent save.
This is it, man. The form Melier's in as well. We've got to
looks good one-on-ones, doesn't he? He's had a couple of one-on-ones now.
He looks great everywhere now. He's really just getting better and better. And this is the hard thing with doing shows like this is like you want to praise all the standout performers, but like there's 11 of them every week. You know, like the entire team is playing so well. Like Melier's just been incredible. His distribution was so good against Villa as well. He was just pinging those passes to the wings constantly. I think as he just settles more and more, that's another beautiful bit of stability at the back. So, yeah, I think we're going to absolutely rattle them.
If the tactical sort of plan, there might not be. I presume there will be a tactical plan for Vardy. But if there isn't, is it sort of in the minds of Robin and in the minds of Liam Cooper to sort of naturally drop 5 yards, or is it a case of just still matching him up level for level, if you get what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think we drop back, mate. I just don't think we do. I don't think Bielsa will allow it. I think your fear of Vardy running in behind you would be outweighed of the roasting that you would get off Bielsa if you did start dropping back. We're just not going to do that. I don't think. Look, like in the best possible way, I mean this. We don't respect opponents like that. We go and play our way. We go and impose ourselves on the game. We are the protagonists. That's Bielsa's phrase. He always says we want to be the protagonists in the game, and that's what it's going to be. Our focus is going to be on how we can blow them away. We're not going to Bielsa's not going to be sat giving tactical things of how we can stop Leicester, how we stop them, how we stop them. They'll have had those talks, but the main talk will be how we break them down and how we score. So
I think I'm going to have to call the name of the build-up show this. I think Dibs have got it perfect. I think we should. I've got to name it this, haven't I? Attack.
Yeah, that is it. That's the Bielsa way. Like that's it. That is the strategy, and we will do that again. This is, our tactics will never change. We'll just keep doing the same thing. Whoever's in front of us.
Wayne says 6-0 and we go second.
All right, I like it, Wayne. I'm with you, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. But yeah, mate, I'm going to go with a 3-2 Leeds win. I think we will. I actually think we'll go 3-0 up. And it's going to be one of those Cardiff things where they get back into it in the second half. But we
like the Villa Southampton game.
Yeah. But yeah, mate, so that's it. We've gone for longer this time. I just thought it'd be nice to go over the last game and talk.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So it's been enjoyable, mate. But
always good to talk Leeds.
That's it. As I always say, though, mate, where can everybody find you? What are you doing?
Well, check me out. I've got 2 YouTube channels. I've got the Bielsa Bible, which is my podcast with Mickey Pica, which is all about Marcelo Bielsa, basically. And I've got my own channel. It's Rob Mulholland Comedy. I put up some Leeds videos. I also just do my stand-up on there. You can check out that video. They got me banned off Facebook. That's on my YouTube. And yeah, check me out on there. I've got a stand-up comedy special, Too Big to Fail, on there as well.
Yeah, it's really good stuff, guys. So make sure you go check that out. Yeah, mate, and it looks like we've got past without any internet issues either. It's like a new era. Man. It's a new era.
Mate, we're going to smash this second lockdown. We've learned from the first.
But guys, thank you so much for joining in. Me and Rob will be back at some point, and we will see you later. Cheers.